Forget carrots. This tiny seed repairs eyes better than drops. If your vision is getting worse every year, it's probably not because of aging alone. Let that sink in for a moment. Most people blame birthdays for blurry vision, stronger prescriptions, and difficulty reading at night. But aging is only part of the story, and often not the main driver. For decades, we were told one simple message: eat more carrots, get more vitamin A. Your eyes will be fine. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Carrots are not a magic shield for your eyes. Vitamin A deficiency is rare in developed countries, and for most adults, losing clarity after 40 or 50, that's not the real problem. And those lubricating eye drops sitting on your nightstand? They may soothe dryness, but they don't repair the cellular damage happening deep inside your lens and retina. So let me ask you something. Are you increasing your glasses prescription every 1 to 2 years? Do headlights at night look like starbursts? Do the words on your phone blur unless you hold it farther away than you used to? If any of that sounds familiar, your eyes aren't just getting older. They may be dealing with oxidative stress, microinflammation, and structural changes inside the lens itself. Today, I'm going to show you what's actually happening inside your aging eyes. Why the lens gradually loses clarity, why the retina becomes more vulnerable, and why certain tiny seeds contain compounds that protect eye tissue better than most over-the-counter drops ever could. You'll understand the real biological reason vision declines with age. You'll see what happens inside the transparent proteins of your lens over time. And I'll walk you through 6 specific seeds, ranked from least impressive to most powerful, based on how they support retinal circulation, antioxidant defense, and cellular repair. And here's something that might surprise you. Seed number 1 is something most people walk past in the grocery store every single week, without realizing it may be one of the most protective foods for their eyesight. Let's begin. Let's start by correcting something important. Your vision is not declining simply because you are getting older. Age plays a role, yes, but it is not the root cause. What truly drives vision loss over time is cumulative cellular stress. And that stress begins quietly, often decades before you notice blurry text or difficulty driving at night. First, let's talk about your lens. The lens inside your eye is made of highly organized, transparent proteins. When you're young, those proteins are flexible, clear, and perfectly aligned. But over time, they are exposed to oxygen, light, blood sugar fluctuations, and environmental toxins. This exposure creates oxidative stress. Oxidative stress damages those proteins, causing them to clump together microscopically. That clumping is what eventually leads to cloudiness, the early stages of lens stiffening and cataract formation. It's not simply aging, it's oxidation. Now let's move deeper, to the retina. Your retina is one of the most metabolically active tissues in your entire body. It consumes enormous amounts of oxygen every second. And because it uses so much oxygen, it is highly vulnerable to oxidative damage. The retina is protected by a delicate lipid layer, rich in essential fatty acids. But as we age, that lipid membrane begins to weaken. Why? Because many adults are chronically low in omega-3 fatty acids, especially DHA, which is critical for retinal structure. Without enough omega-3s, the photoreceptor cells become more fragile. Signals become less efficient. Contrast sensitivity declines. Night vision suffers. Now add inflammation to the picture. Inside your eyes are tiny blood vessels, microcapillaries that deliver oxygen and nutrients to the retina. These vessels are incredibly small and sensitive. Chronic low-grade inflammation, driven by processed foods, blood sugar spikes, and poor sleep, damages these microvessels over time. When circulation becomes impaired, retinal cells receive less nourishment. Less nourishment means slower repair. Slower repair means gradual visual decline. And here's something most people never hear. The modern diet is extremely low in polyphenols, plant compounds that protect blood vessels and neutralize free radicals. Polyphenols help stabilize those delicate retinal capillaries. They reduce oxidative damage. They improve endothelial function, the health of the inner lining of your blood vessels. Without them, your eye tissue is left more exposed to daily stress. So when you step back and look at the full picture, The real drivers of worsening vision are clear. Oxidized lens proteins, weakening lipid membranes in the retina, chronic microvascular inflammation, and long-term deficiencies in omega-3s and protective plant compounds. That is why simply eating carrots or using lubricating drops does not solve the problem. Because the issue isn't surface dryness or vitamin A deficiency. The issue is cellular protection and structural integrity. And that's where certain seeds, tiny but nutritionally dense, begin to change the story. To understand why your vision changes, you need to understand what your lens actually is. Your lens is not muscle. It is not fluid. It is not cartilage. It is made almost entirely of specialized transparent proteins. These proteins are arranged in an incredibly precise structure, like perfectly stacked glass fibers. When that structure remains intact, light passes through clearly and focuses sharply onto your retina. But unlike your skin or your liver, the lens does not regenerate easily. Those proteins you were born with are largely the same proteins you are still using decades later. Now imagine what happens when those proteins are exposed to oxygen, UV light, blood sugar fluctuations, and environmental toxins year after year. Free radicals begin to form. Free radicals are unstable molecules that attack nearby structures in search of stability. And inside your lens, the first targets are those delicate proteins. When free radicals damage them, the proteins begin to stick together. This process is called protein aggregation. At first, it is microscopic. You cannot feel it. You cannot see it. But over time, those tiny clumps increase. Light no longer passes cleanly through the lens. Instead of smooth transmission, light scatters. That scattering is what you experience as glare, halos around headlights, or difficulty reading fine print. It is not simply getting older. It is structural damage accumulating slowly. And here's something even more important. Your lens does not have its own direct blood supply. There are no blood vessels running through it. That means it cannot rely on a rich, constant stream of nutrients the way other tissues can. Instead, it depends on the surrounding eye fluid and extremely delicate microcirculation around the eye. If that microcirculation weakens, nutrient delivery declines. If inflammation increases, repair slows. If oxidative stress remains high, damage accelerates. So what you're seeing is not random decline. It's the visible result of oxidative stress outpacing your body's protective capacity. Over time, transparency fades, flexibility decreases, clarity weakens. And that gradual fading is what many people mistakenly label as just aging. But aging is not the villain. Uncontrolled oxidative stress is, which leads to the most important shift in thinking. So the real question is not about carrots. It's about cellular protection. Now that you understand what's actually happening inside your aging lens and retina, the next question becomes obvious. How do you slow that damage, or even begin to reverse part of it? The answer is not found in bigger portions. It's found in higher density. Seeds are small, but they are biological powerhouses. Inside every seed is the complete nutritional blueprint required to grow an entire plant. That means concentrated antioxidants, essential fats, trace minerals, and protective compounds, all packed into a tiny structure. Let's start with vitamin E. Vitamin E is one of the most powerful fat-soluble antioxidants in the human body. Your retina is made largely of delicate fatty membranes. Without sufficient vitamin E, those membranes become vulnerable to oxidation. When vitamin E levels are adequate, it acts like a shield, protecting retinal cells from free radical attack. Next, polyphenols. Polyphenols are plant compounds that reduce inflammation and stabilize blood vessels. Remember those fragile microcapillaries feeding your retina? Polyphenols help protect them from damage. They improve endothelial function, the inner lining of blood vessels, which supports consistent oxygen delivery to eye tissue. Then we have omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s, especially DHA, are structural components of your retinal cells. They support membrane flexibility. They improve tear stability. They reduce inflammatory signaling inside the eye. Many adults are chronically deficient in omega-3s, which leaves the retina more fragile than it should be. Now let's talk about zinc and selenium. Zinc plays a crucial role in transporting vitamin A within the eye. Without zinc, vitamin A cannot be efficiently used, even if you consume enough. Selenium supports glutathione activity, one of your body's most powerful internal antioxidant systems. Together, these minerals help defend lens proteins from oxidative breakdown. And finally, phytosterols. Phytosterols help reduce systemic inflammation and support vascular health. Healthier blood vessels mean better microcirculation. Better microcirculation means improved nutrient delivery to the lens and retina. So when you combine vitamin E, polyphenols, omega-3s, zinc, selenium, and phytosterols, you are not just feeding your eyes. You are reinforcing their defense systems at a cellular level. This is why certain seeds do far more than lubricate or temporarily soothe. They support structural protection and long-term resilience. But not all seeds are equal. Some are overhyped, some are powerful, but commonly misused. And one, the most powerful of them all, is hiding in plain sight. Let's rank them from least impressive to absolute king of eye repair. Let's start with a seed that almost everyone considers a superfood: chia seeds. They're sprinkled into smoothies, stirred into yogurt, mixed into puddings, and praised across social media as a nutritional miracle. And to be clear, chia seeds are healthy. They contain fiber, plant-based omega-3s, antioxidants, and trace minerals. But when it comes specifically to repairing aging eyes, they are not as powerful as many people assume. Here's why. The primary omega-3 in chia seeds is ALA, alpha-linolenic acid. ALA is beneficial, but your body must convert it into DHA and EPA before it can directly support retinal structure. And that conversion process is extremely inefficient. In most adults, less than 10% of ALA converts into EPA, and often less than 1.5% becomes DHA. DHA is the omega-3 your retina actually needs. So while chia provides the building blocks, it does not efficiently deliver the final product your eye tissue depends on. There's another issue. Chia seeds are difficult to digest if eaten dry. Their outer shell can pass through the digestive system partially intact. Unless they are soaked or ground, nutrient absorption may be lower than expected. So if you're simply sprinkling dry chia on top of cereal and expecting retinal repair, you may not be getting the full benefit. Now, do chia seeds support general health? Absolutely. They help regulate blood sugar. They support gut health through fiber. They reduce systemic inflammation modestly. But do they directly reverse oxidative damage inside your lens or strengthen retinal membranes in a meaningful way? Not significantly, at least not compared to what you'll see next. This is where nuance matters. Healthy? Yes. Eye repair miracle? No. And as we move up this list, you'll see seeds that go far beyond basic nutrition and begin to actively protect and reinforce the structures inside your eyes. Now let's talk about a seed that actually has strong potential for eye protection, but is almost always consumed the wrong way. Sunflower seeds. On paper, they look impressive. They are one of the richest natural sources of vitamin E, the very antioxidant your retinal membranes desperately need. Vitamin E protects the delicate fats in your eyes from oxidation. It stabilizes cell membranes. It helps prevent the clumping of proteins inside the lens. In theory, sunflower seeds should rank near the top for eye support. But here's the problem. Most people eat them roasted at high temperatures, and often heavily salted. High heat oxidizes the very oils that make sunflower seeds beneficial. When delicate, unsaturated fats are overheated, they begin to degrade. Oxidized fats generate inflammatory compounds. Instead of protecting your cells, they can contribute to the very oxidative stress you're trying to reduce. Then comes the salt. Excess sodium increases blood pressure. Elevated blood pressure damages the tiny microvessels that nourish your retina. Remember, your eyes depend on stable microcirculation. Too much sodium works against that goal. And some commercially processed sunflower snacks are fried in industrial seed oils before packaging. That double oxidation, first in processing, then during roasting, significantly reduces their protective value. So the seed itself is not the issue. The preparation is. Raw or lightly dry roasted sunflower seeds without added oils can be beneficial. Moderate portions can meaningfully contribute to your daily vitamin E intake. But the salted, heavily roasted packaged version? That version quietly cancels out much of the benefit. This is the lesson many people miss. Nutrition is not just about what you eat. It's about how you prepare it. Because with sunflower seeds, the difference between protection and damage often comes down to temperature and processing. The message is simple. The way you eat a seed determines whether it heals or harms. Now we move into a seed that almost nobody associates with vision, yet it quietly plays a powerful role. Sesame seeds, small, unassuming, often overlooked, but nutritionally dense in ways that matter deeply for eye health. One of the most important reasons sesame earns its place on this list is zinc. Zinc is critical for retinal function. Your retina depends on zinc to help transport vitamin A from your liver to your eye tissue. Without sufficient zinc, vitamin A cannot be efficiently utilized, even if you consume plenty of carrots or supplements. That means zinc acts like a delivery system. No delivery system, no effective visual processing. This is especially important for night vision. Low zinc levels are associated with impaired adaptation to darkness. If you've noticed headlights looking brighter or halos at night, zinc status may be part of the picture. But sesame seeds offer more than zinc. They contain powerful lignans, plant compounds with antioxidant properties. These lignans help reduce oxidative stress and support vascular health. Healthy microvessels mean better nutrient flow to the retina. Better flow means better repair capacity. Sesame also contains vitamin E, though not as high as sunflower seeds, and beneficial unsaturated fats that help stabilize cell membranes. And here's something few people realize. In traditional medicine systems, sesame has long been associated with nourishing tissues related to aging. While modern science focuses on micronutrients, the pattern is interesting. Sesame supports mineral balance. It supports circulation. It supports structural resilience. Yet when people think of eye foods, sesame almost never makes the list. They think carrots. They think blueberries. They rarely think seeds. But nutritionally speaking, sesame provides the exact trace mineral support that aging eyes quietly need. It may not be flashy, it may not trend on social media, but for retinal support and vitamin A utilization, sesame is one of the most underrated allies you can add to your daily routine. And as we move up this ranking, the impact becomes even more targeted and powerful. Now we move into a seed that sparks debate, flaxseed. Some praise it, some avoid it, some are unsure what to believe. And the reason for that controversy usually comes down to one word: phytoestrogens. But before we address that, let's focus on why flaxseed deserves serious attention for eye health. First, lignans. Flaxseed is one of the richest dietary sources of lignans, plant compounds with strong antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. These lignans help reduce oxidative stress at a cellular level. Remember what damages your lens and retina over time? Oxidation and microvascular inflammation. Lignans help calm both. Second, omega-3 fatty acids. Like chia, flaxseed contains ALA, alpha-linolenic acid. While conversion to DHA is limited, flax still contributes to an overall anti-inflammatory environment. Reducing systemic inflammation indirectly benefits the microcapillaries that nourish your retina. Inflamed vessels restrict blood flow. Stable vessels improve oxygen and nutrient delivery. That matters for maintaining retinal function. Flaxseed also supports membrane stability. The delicate photoreceptor cells in your retina rely on flexible, intact lipid membranes to function properly. When membranes are inflamed or rigid, signal transmission weakens. Healthy fats help maintain fluidity and resilience. Now let's address the controversy. Flaxseed contains phytoestrogens, specifically lignans that can weakly bind to estrogen receptors. Some people fear this will disrupt hormones. But here's what the research actually shows. Phytoestrogens are not the same as human estrogen. They are significantly weaker, often hundreds of times less potent. In many cases, they act as modulators, not stimulators. In populations with balanced diets, flax consumption has not been shown to cause harmful hormonal effects in healthy individuals. In fact, in some studies, lignans are associated with improved metabolic and cardiovascular markers. That said, moderation matters. Flaxseed should be ground for proper absorption. Whole flax often passes through undigested, and like any concentrated food, excessive intake is unnecessary. So is flaxseed a miracle cure? No. Is it dangerous? For most healthy adults, no. Is it scientifically legitimate for reducing inflammation and supporting vascular health, including the microvessels of the eye? Yes. Flaxseed sits in that category of misunderstood but valuable, not flashy, not extreme, but backed by mechanisms that make biological sense. And now we're moving into the top two, where the support for retinal structure becomes even more direct and powerful. Now we're stepping into much stronger territory. If the earlier seeds supported your eyes indirectly, this one begins to act more directly on retinal structure itself. Hemp seeds. Small, soft, slightly nutty in flavor, and incredibly balanced nutritionally. What makes hemp different is its omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. Most modern diets are overloaded with omega-6 fats and severely deficient in omega-3s. That imbalance promotes chronic inflammation, including inside the tiny vessels of your eyes. Hemp seeds contain a far more favorable omega-3 to omega-6 ratio than most seeds. This balance helps calm inflammatory signaling rather than amplify it. Now remember something important. Your retina is built from delicate lipid membranes. Those membranes must stay flexible and stable in order to transmit light signals properly. When omega-3 intake is low, those membranes become less resilient. Signal transmission weakens, dryness increases, light sensitivity worsens. Hemp seeds help reinforce that lipid layer. They provide alpha-linolenic acid, yes, but also gamma-linolenic acid, GLA, which plays a role in regulating inflammatory pathways. That combination supports tear production and surface lubrication, and this is where many people notice change first. Reduced dry eye symptoms, less gritty sensation, less burning after screen exposure. Because dry eye is not just about moisture, it's about inflammation of the tear film and instability of the lipid layer. Hemp helps stabilize that layer. That's why it ranks higher than flax or chia for eye comfort and retinal membrane support. Is it the absolute king? Not yet. But in terms of balancing fats, calming inflammation, and supporting the structural integrity of the retina, hemp seeds are a powerhouse. And now we arrive at the one seed that goes even further, targeting not just inflammation, not just membrane stability, but true mineral-driven retinal protection. And now we arrive at the top of the list, the seed that most people walk past without realizing its power. Pumpkin seeds, simple, affordable, often ignored, yet nutritionally they are one of the most concentrated eye-supporting foods available. Let's start with zinc. Pumpkin seeds are among the richest natural sources of bioavailable zinc. And as you learned earlier, zinc is essential for transporting vitamin A into the retina. Without zinc, vitamin A cannot effectively support visual pigment production. That directly affects night vision and contrast sensitivity. Zinc also supports the health of retinal cells and helps regulate inflammatory responses inside ocular tissue. Now add vitamin E. Pumpkin seeds provide a meaningful amount of this fat-soluble antioxidant. Vitamin E protects lens proteins from oxidative damage, the very process that leads to cloudiness and cataract formation over time. Then there's selenium. Selenium activates glutathione peroxidase, one of your body's most important antioxidant enzymes. Glutathione plays a key role in defending the lens against protein aggregation. When glutathione levels decline with age, oxidative damage accelerates. Selenium helps reinforce that defense system. But here's where it becomes even more interesting. Pumpkin seeds also contain small but meaningful amounts of lutein and related carotenoids. Lutein accumulates directly in the retina, particularly in the macula. It acts like internal sunglasses, filtering blue light and protecting photoreceptors. When paired with healthy fats from seeds, lutein absorption improves. Now consider combining pumpkin seeds with black sesame. Black sesame adds additional zinc, lignans, and mineral support. Together, this combination strengthens antioxidant defense, enhances microcirculation, and reinforces retinal membranes. Pumpkin seeds don't just calm inflammation. They support structural protection. They reduce oxidative stress inside the lens. They help maintain healthier intraocular pressure regulation by supporting vascular tone. They address multiple pathways at once. That's why they sit at number 1. Not because they are trendy, but because their nutrient profile directly targets the mechanisms behind aging vision. Small seed, powerful impact. And when used consistently, not occasionally, they become a quiet but powerful ally in protecting clarity over time. Now, let's make this practical. Knowing which seeds help is only part of the equation. Consistency and structure are what create results. 1. Exact daily amount. The ideal range for most adults is 1 to 2 tablespoons per day of mixed eye-supportive seeds. That does not mean eating them all at once. Spread them across meals to improve absorption and reduce digestive strain. For example, 1 tablespoon in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. Rotate intelligently. Pumpkin as your base, hemp for balance, sesame for mineral support. Seeds are nutrient-dense, not calorie-free, so more is not better. Consistency beats excess. Pair them with healthy fats. A small amount of olive oil, avocado, or plain yogurt improves absorption of vitamin E and lutein. Fat-soluble nutrients need fat to enter your bloodstream efficiently. Avoid roasting them at high heat. Lightly raw or gently dry roasted is best. Ground or chewed thoroughly improves mineral absorption. Now let's talk about what you can realistically expect. 2. Realistic timeline. In the first 2 weeks, many people notice reduced dryness or less gritty sensation. That happens because omega-3 and anti-inflammatory compounds begin stabilizing the tear film. By 4 to 6 weeks, morning clarity often improves. Light sensitivity may decrease. Contrast in low-light conditions may feel slightly sharper. By 3 months, antioxidant defenses become more stable. Lens oxidation slows. Retinal membranes strengthen. Improvements feel more consistent rather than temporary. But remember, this is protection and repair support, not instant correction. You are reinforcing biological systems, not flipping a switch. 3. Critical support habits. Seeds alone will not override poor sleep. Your eyes repair during deep sleep cycles. Less than 6 hours consistently will blunt results. Blue light exposure matters. Use warm light in the evening. Limit screen intensity before bed. Hydration is essential. Your lens and tear film depend on proper fluid balance. Aim for steady hydration throughout the day rather than large bursts at night. This protocol is simple. It is sustainable. And when done consistently, it supports the cellular protection your aging eyes actually need, because vision is not repaired in a week. It is protected through daily habits, repeated quietly over time. Now let's talk about what quietly sabotages progress. Because even the best seeds will not help if they are used the wrong way. Mistake number 1. Roasting them until they burn. High heat damages delicate fats. When unsaturated oils are overheated, they oxidize. Oxidized fats increase inflammation, the exact opposite of what your eyes need. Lightly raw or gently dry roasted is acceptable. But dark, bitter, burnt seeds, those lose much of their protective value. Mistake number 2. Pairing them with industrial seed oils. Many packaged snack mixes use refined vegetable oils. These oils are often already oxidized before you even open the bag. Adding protective seeds to inflammatory oils cancels the benefit. If you combine seeds with fat, choose stable options like olive oil or natural whole food sources. Mistake number 3. Expecting a detox miracle. Your eyes are not clogged pipes that need flushing. They are living tissues that require structural repair and antioxidant defense. If you expect dramatic vision changes in a few days, you will be disappointed. Protection is gradual. Repair is cumulative. Mistake number 4. Inconsistency. Eating seeds for 3 days and stopping for 2 weeks does not build cellular resilience. Your antioxidant systems strengthen with repetition. Small amounts daily are far more effective than large amounts occasionally. Mistake number 5. Eating too much. More is not better. Excess seeds mean excess calories and excess omega-6 if unbalanced. Too much can even cause digestive discomfort. Stick to the protocol. Balance matters more than volume. The goal is not overload. The goal is reinforcement. Protect the fats from heat. Avoid inflammatory pairings. Be patient. Stay consistent. Because eye protection is not about extremes. It's about disciplined, steady, intelligent nutrition repeated over time. Let's bring this together clearly. Carrots are not wrong. Vitamin A matters. But carrots alone are not enough to protect aging eyes. Because vision decline is not simply about deficiency. It is about structural stress over time. Your eyes need healthy fats to stabilize membranes. They need antioxidants to protect lens proteins. They need minerals like zinc and selenium to activate repair systems. They need anti-inflammatory support to protect delicate microvessels. When those elements are missing, oxidative damage accumulates quietly. That accumulation is what you experience as blur, glare, dryness, and gradual decline. So no, worsening vision is not just about getting older. It is about years of inflammation and oxidation building slowly beneath the surface. And that means you are not powerless. When you shift your focus from quick fixes to cellular protection, the strategy changes. Tiny seeds, consistent intake, balanced fats, realistic timelines. That is how protection is built. Now I'm curious. Which seed surprised you the most? How old are you? And where are you watching from today? I read the comments, and it helps this community grow stronger and smarter together. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more science-based strategies to protect your vision naturally and intelligently. Because clear vision isn't just luck, it's daily protection.